All right, so we've had the biggest part of here was actually what we just did with the whole graphing and going from interval notation to inequalities and inequalities in interval notation. So we did the biggest part. And now the last three examples are going to have the same instructions that we've been dealing with. So now we're kind of going back to that very first thing we were talking about with the graphing, and we got the x is greater than 1/2 type thing, and we did the open circle and graphed it out. So now we're taking all this and putting everything together and solving equations. And now we're going to graph them on number lines and use brackets and parentheses. And then go ahead and put in interval notation with the brackets and parentheses and all that good stuff. And infinities and all that good stuff too. So it shouldn't be a bad thing because you already know how to do solving equations and all that good stuff. So that's what we're going to do now. And we're just going to add in all the stuff we just learned. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be really good. Really, really good. So with this one again, we're going to solve and graph the linear inequalities. And then we're going to write the answers in interval notation, or solutions, whatever you want to call it. So, our equation, or inequality, that we're going to deal with is 3 minus 2x is less than 11. And again, here we know we're going to solve for x. And again, here the best thing to do is get x on the left side of your answer. So you're always trying to get x on the left side of your answer every single time. So the way I do it, I always get it so that x stays on the left side the whole way through. But if you do it a different way, just make sure at the end that you flip everything around, including inequality sign, to get x on the left side. Okay, so here we know we're going to subtract 3 from both sides first, because we need to get that variable by itself, all by itself right here. So we get this to cancel out, and we get negative 2x is less than, and 11 minus 3 is 8. Now, the next part, we know we're going to get x by itself. So we know we're going to divide. So we divide by negative 2. And what happens when you divide by a negative number? And hopefully you guys remember this. I hope. And hopefully you're saying it in your head already or saying it out loud already, whatever you want to do. We know whenever we divide by negative, the inequality signs switch. So this inequality sign right here. So we know those cancel out. And so x and inequality sign switches. So it's going to be, instead of less than, now a greater than sign. And 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4. Oh yeah. And again here, this as a side note, so we don't forget this part. When we divide or multiply by a negative, the inequality sign switches. So the inequality sign will switch, just like we did right there. So when we divide or multiply by a negative, the inequality sign, sign switches. So it's either from greater than to less than sign, or less than sign to greater than sign. Either way, it's always going to switch when you divide by or multiply by a negative. All right, so now the last part is to graph it out and then go ahead and put it in interval notation. So we got to do all 3 parts. And we know how to do this already, so we should be able to fly through this and get her done. Get her done. All right, parentheses there, because we know it's just a greater than sign. Put our infinities there. And again, no parenthesis bracket on the infinities at all here, only for interval notation. Then last thing is interval notation. Put a parenthesis there, put a parenthesis there, and we are done. So we have the inequality, we have the graphing, and we have the interval notation. And we're done. And there's our practice.